Good Wednesday morning, Larry Sprinkle and Chris Mulcahy, and you know what that means?
Weather!
Did we do this last week, last Wednesday?
I think it was.
It seemed like we did, yeah.
It's a weather-aware Wednesday. Last year wasn't weather-aware.
Yeah, we talked about this all week, how this situation could be very serious in some areas. So here's what we're dealing with across the area. This is why we are weather-aware today, this afternoon, and tomorrow morning. Really, we could say this afternoon, tonight, through tomorrow morning, strong to severe storms. High winds, lightning, and hail. Hail is, you know, we don't get that much, but I think we've had a couple times recently where that's a part of our weather picture, Chris.
And just a note, that Rock Hill event wasn't like a big warned day by the Storm Prediction Center. So this is also the perfect time of year. Once you hit the summertime, it gets too hot in the mid-level, so it doesn't really support hail. So that's why usually the springtime is the best hail maker. So especially if a thunderstorm is individual, that's going to be your best chance for hail.
Look at this graphic right here. This is about 56 million people within this storm system. Huge, a monster storm system. And right there, from St. Louis to Memphis, that area, that hatch mark area, that's potential for some very serious tornadoes, Chris.
What we learned for our weather IQ today is that any EF2 tornado or greater is considered a strong tornado. So whenever you have those hash marks, that's representing that they're going to be not just tornadoes, but strong tornadoes. Those are the ones that can throw cars. Those are the ones that can absolutely destroy a home. So thoughts and prayers for those people, because this has been the worst severe weather and tornado season that we've had across the United States since 2011. And if you've lived here in North Carolina since then, you know that year very well.
Absolutely. And then for us, we're in that moderate threat for some storms this afternoon, strong, even severe storms tomorrow. This is a morning time event, early morning. I think people may be awakened by the heavy rain, the thunder and lightning, and the high winds tomorrow morning early. And then we take you into Friday. Friday, a whole different situation south of here. So I think Friday should be okay. So we got 2 days in a row weather aware. Not often do we see 2 days in a row like this.
That's true. And it's mainly because it's the crossover, because the storm system is really tonight into tomorrow. But I think you have that round one this afternoon, and then again later on tonight, as Larry's showing you here.
Yeah, you can see right here, as you on your way home today, you got travel plans, you're heading home. This is 4 o'clock. That covers the entire Charlotte metro area. That's heavy rain, strong, possibly severe thunderstorms. Yeah, I have some concern about the drive home today, Chris. Even some severe thunderstorms. It could be a spin up.
I think that this is going to be probably just because of the time of day, has a chance for a stronger thunderstorm, a bigger impact, especially with some of those isolated natures compared to the overnight event. Now, you're going to see it looks very mean, but we're almost hitting 90 degrees today, Larry. It's been humid, so it's kind of that perfect afternoon pop-up thunderstorm scenario.
Yeah, then even late tonight, there could be some storms. That's up there in the mountains. That's around 11 o'clock tonight. As far as any flash flood threat, parts of the area could see those. That would be over towards the foothills, the northern, southern foothills, all the way down into the upstate of South Carolina, so pockets of heavy rain.
The thing with the afternoon thunderstorms also, those are going to be slower moving than what we have tonight, because that one tonight is going to turn into a line by. Wouldn't be surprised, Larry, if this afternoon you have 1 to 2 thunderstorms, and then it turns to 3 to 4, then 6 to 7 to 8. So I think what that just is generally saying is that you'll have a couple of thunderstorms that will lead to what's called a multi-cluster system. Those ones that move a little bit slower, that I think are our biggest flash flood threat. But luckily, this second line is going to be moving so quick, but it's still torrential downpours for that period. And like you said, people likely are going to be waking up at some point.
That certainly will.
I just hit a trash can.
That was that noise. There's thunder right there. Friday, no threat at all. Now, let's talk about today.
Okay.
And this is the thunderstorm fuel. And we don't use this graphic that often, but this is interesting. We talk about the difference between today and tomorrow.
And by the way, the white color is not great. That is hitting that high level. And notice what happens as we go into the afternoon. Boom.
Boom. And then, overnight, late tonight, tomorrow, it's not the thunderstorm fuel is not there. So that's really, it's today. I was going to get that graphic up one more time. Went back too many graphics right there. Let's go once again over the thunderstorm fuel. Kind of explain this graphic right here.
Okay, so what thunderstorm fuel is based on CAPE, or convective available potential energy. So that's a fancy term for just how much energy is in the atmosphere. So what this is picking up on is that you have temperatures near 90. You have dew points that are above that threshold about 65. So that's humid, moist air rising up. So that high level shows that you had the perfect setup for thunderstorms to pop and for them to thrive. Now, what you're seeing is overnight tonight is that since it's a little bit cooler, you don't have that heat to rapidly rise up that moisture. So that's why I think this scenario, even though we are under a low risk, I think there's enough energy that will be stored in the storms before they get to us. But since we don't have the necessary fuel really a little bit later on tonight, we saw this, I think, a couple of months ago that we had a slight risk overnight, but then it didn't really come to fruition here. I still think this line is going to be mean once the sun rises up really east of our area, so I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying that this is a better timing for us here for that second line. But this afternoon, be weather aware. That's why we're weather aware today and weather aware tomorrow.
This afternoon could be pretty mean. Now, this is early tomorrow morning.
Wow,
this is 2 a.m. This is a big line of heavy, heavy rain, some gusty winds, some storms out there. That's at 2 a.m. You'll be awakened by that. Between 2 and 4, that tracks across the area. Pretty fast-moving system, but that could really inundate the area with a lot of rain, a lot of really strong winds, a lot of cloud ground lightning. So by about 5 o'clock, most of that's east of Interstate 77. Then after 7, it's out of here.
And that's where it's going to start juicing up again. But I mentioned the Cape. So Cape is really the driving factor for forming storms. And we see this all the time in the Midwest for these events. Oftentimes, even though you're shutting off the additional fuel, these storms can be so strong that they are almost their own engines that they keep going. So that's exactly what's going to happen. So, yes, it will arrive probably at its weaker point compared to where it was west of us, where you saw those reds and those extreme threats for tornadoes. But at least for us, it'll be weakening at that point, but you still have a chance for strong winds and certainly a lot of rain.
And today will be hot. So we got the fuel out there. That's why today we're talking about the potential for storms this afternoon. We're near 90 here. Everybody's going to be way up there as far as high temperatures. So you got the heat, the humidity, those high dew points, all the ingredients for severe weather this afternoon. And then you'll be awakened by some very heavy rain and strong winds to early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it could be a rough drive for you, my friend, especially coming in. But also, I think this is extra attention because of what you see here on the Guy Roofing 7-day forecast. What are those icons Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Wells Fargo, you got that Wells Fargo forecast.
Oh, I sure do.
Let's talk about it right now.
So today is the Pro-Am. So actively right now, as we are recording, this is now 7:40, the Pro-Am is going on. There'll be a second round a little bit later on in the afternoon. And if, Robert, we can switch over to the other computer showing you your golf forecast. This is what you're looking like. Larry showed you already on the Futurecast. I think really after 2 o'clock, you're opening up your window of opportunity for these storms. Now, this is a different model than what Larry had, and that's what's maddening about us meteorologists, that you're going to have sometimes a difference of 2 hours. So that's why we usually give ranges. So I'd really say between about 1 and 5 o'clock is where we're going to have some of the worst of the storms. One general consensus that we're seeing is that pretty much the evening commute, you're going to have some strong isolated storms. So I think that's where we're going to have the worst activity. And with an outdoor event like the Wells Fargo event, at 4 o'clock, they're supposed to have the kids come out and drive golf balls.
That could be a situation.
For one, you've heard it many times. Being under a tree, especially with a golf club, is the worst thing you can do during a lightning event. So as soon as they hear thunder, they're shutting everything down. That's going to activate what's called the 30-30 rule. And that's why it's so important for these forecasts. Now, what we already showed you with this, the worst of the rain for the Wells Fargo Championship is when the golfers are sleeping. So I think you might have a slight chance. I'm talking about a slight chance for maybe another shower later on, but it doesn't look to be anything major. And then rolling into Friday, things are actually trending in the right direction. So here's what you can expect. Thursday, 85 degrees tomorrow. We still have an inclement weather possibility, but honestly, I think we can almost color this green.
It's just going to be very wet. The golf course had puddles on it. Some of those greens will be. It's a whole different situation playing after that kind of weather.
Absolutely.
It'll be a challenge for the players.
And what's interesting about that, talking about meteorology and golf, is that how they play hole 1 is going to be different than hole 18 because the ball is going to be going faster at that point as things start to dry out. So there's a lot of factors that start to go in there.
Also, and who tees off when?
Yes. And there's a front that is notorious for winds as well. But here's the good news. There is, again, a slight chance for a thunderstorm on Friday. I only colored it yellow because there's the outside chance. But realistically, the storms moving in is perfect timing for the championship because once it really gets ramped up for Saturday and Sunday,
that's nice.
Mid-70s, perfect golfing.
If you're going out there this weekend, you picked the perfect time. I'm telling you, the humidity is going to be lower, the conditions are going to be great. So Welcome to, if you're new to Charlotte, welcome to Charlotte. Welcome to WCNC Charlotte. And a lot of information right there.
A lot of it.
And we'll be here 24/7 to let you know what's going on. Brad will have the very latest coming up this afternoon. We'll be here tomorrow morning, Friday morning. In fact, every single day of the week.
That's how we do. And we appreciate you.
Have a great day. See you tomorrow morning right here at WCNC Charlotte.